everyone, my name is Aarti More and today I am going to talk on leadership. So, in this session, we are going to discover the qualities of leaders and how to use them in your own life for ultimate success. As we all are aware that there are different types of leadership, but today I have given more focus on situational style of leadership. At the end of session, you will yourself will come to know why I choose this type of leadership. So, you have to say yes or no in your mind that whether you think you are a leader. If yes, it's good. But if no, still you have a greater chance to become a successful leader. Leadership as a concept has been evolving over the centuries. Leaders initially referred to the king of a country or nation. Today we have leaders in almost every field, whether it's an education institution, armed forces, sports, spiritual leaders, and the list will go on and on. We have learned about Mahatma Gandhi, Napoleon, Albert Einstein, or Abraham Lincoln, who gained worldwide recognition. Then, Lokmanya Tilak, Rabindranath Tagore are very well-known leaders in their particular community and region. All of the leaders have something in common, some factors that earn them respect and appreciation, which we also called attributes of leadership. Yes, it is also called qualities of leadership. So, what exactly is leadership? In India, leadership has been taken very seriously. Today, all eyes are on India as it is one of the fastest growing economies of the world. As in any other nation, India and Indians draw inspiration from the heroes and leaders of the past. When we go back further in time, we find leadership lessons from superheroes like Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, and Lord Buddha. However, a unique feature about India is that we also learn from the person who created the leaders, the leadership guru. Leader is important, but the creator of the leader is more important because a leadership guru can create more leaders. Swami Ramdas guided Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj to become a successful king. So, some people like to study leaders, some people love to study leadership gurus. Among the leadership gurus, one person stands out as the epitome of leadership teaching. Chanakya. Chanakya was the guru of Chandragupta Maurya, the first king of Maurya dynasty and the grandfather of Emperor Ashoka, who spread the golden teachings of Buddhism across the globe. With the teaching aspects, Chanakya have been documented in his work, the Kautilya Arthashastra. One of the leadership model given in Arthashastra is Chanakya Saptangaha, the seven pillars of a kingdom, which is also known as seven secrets of leadership in the modern day context. You can see all the seven secrets here and what it represents and what it is called in today's organization. So, any kingdom can be classified into seven parts, which put together make the kingdom complete. As you can see over here, a happy kingdom consists of an ideal king, that is a leader, guided by minister, that is a managers, who take care of the citizens, that is stakeholders and customers, providing them good infrastructure and facilities, and making sure that the treasuries of the state and the people is always full. That is finance, which is protected by an able army, that is team, and helped by good allies, that is consultants and mentors. So this model gives us a big picture of leadership. Leaders need to look at the forest, whereas most of us usually look at the trees. So as a leader, one has to look at both forest and the tree. The trees without a forest and the forest without trees are both incomplete. But knowing that both are interdependent makes us more aware about the environment and the condition in which we operate. So, as a leader, you have to look at the big and small things simultaneously. This is a leadership skills. I have seen many of them who is confused between a leader and a manager. So the answer for them is here. There is a difference, yet there are similarities depending on the context. Every leader is a manager for someone, and every manager is a leader for someone else. Let's take an example. The CEO of a company is the leader. If the vice president VP manages a part of the work for the CEO, the vice president becomes the manager. However, the vice president is also a leader to his team members. Similarly, the CEO is the manager for the chairman of the company, and the chairman is the leader of the company. Therefore, all managers are leaders and all leaders are managers, but in different contexts. Now we will move towards the qualities or attributes of a leader. These qualities are not a birthright. They must be developed by hard work and consistent efforts. We will see all these attributes one by one. The very first attribute is intelligent and dynamic. Intelligence and dynamism are the two sides of the same coin. Every leader has to be intelligent. Intelligence is often thought to be about academic brilliance and high IQ score. Research has proved that as time goes by, depending on person's education and environment, his or her intelligence is sharpened. One can become more intelligent by making an effort to stretch your mind and intellect by reading good books, newspapers, research journals, which will help you in making more aware and informed about the world. Next, associates with elders. This means learning from real life experts. Your journey to meet and learn from real life experts should go on forever and ever. It means learning from those who are more mature and experienced than you are. To keep learning is a great quality of a leader. Next, truthfulness in speech. Speaking the truth is important for leader, but one step before that is to understand the truth. A leader has to find out the truth before taking any decision. To stand by the truth is leadership. A leader is truth itself. Next, does not break promises. Leadership is not about overpromising and underdelivering. It is about delivering what is promised. In the police force and armed forces, every recruit takes constitutional pledge to enforce the law when he and she dons the beautiful and respected uniform. So finally, it is not about breaking the promise made to oneself. This is a leadership promise you should take to yourself. Next, grateful. Grateful means humility. True strength lies in humility. Give credit to team members if they perform well. Do not take away their limelight. Instead, take a back seat and let the world know who the true hero is. Appreciating someone will add to your value. Remember, everyone may not be equal in power, status, or wealth, but the day you realize that everyone is equal in the eyes of God, the true leader in you is born. Next, desirous of training and learning. Being desirous of training and learning has two aspects: the desire to get trained and learn, and to give training to others. Involve you and your team member in training and learning. One has to develop the attitude of continuous learning. Keep learning and push yourself for more knowledge in your respective field. It is said that the secret of success is not just to learn, but to unlearn, relearn, and continuously learn. Learning should stop only when die. So, learning and training should not be stopped. Next, easily approachable. A leader make himself available to the people when they require him, not just when he requires them. A leaders play a multiple role at the same time: as a senior, as a father, as a mother, as a friend, as a philosopher, and as a guide. A leader is like a ready and available resources for any problem within the organization. Last but not least, and very important quality, practicing the leadership qualities. Yes, very important. All the qualities are interconnected and signify the various dimensions of a leader. Now you may start wondering where to start from, which quality to develop first. See, in a circle, every point is a starting point as well as ending point. So, start by practicing any of this quality and you will be surprised the other remaining qualities will slowly develop by their own. I just give a beautiful example of here. If you start reading more, you will become more informed and intelligent. At the same time, because you become aware of other possibilities due to reading, you will naturally start looking at things differently and you will become humble in your attitude. Respect every person who comes to meet you. Let the leader in each one of you awaken. I found a very beautiful and inspiring quote about leadership. Leadership is not by rank or designation, it is by attitude and competence. In the army, there is a saying: a soldier never quits till he is dead. It means if the leader of a group dies during a war, the next one takes up the leadership role and continues the war. If the second person dies, the third person takes over as a leader and it's go on and on. So now one may start wondering whether anyone can become a leader. The answer to this question is yes, anyone can become a leader. I will explain you with a heart touching and life example which we have all witnessed it during the year 2008. During the Mumbai terror attack on November 26, 2008, Shri Tukaram Omble, an assistant police sub-inspector, took a leadership position. He marched ahead, taking bullets on his chest, but caught Azmal Kasab alive. Omble sir had proved his leadership irrespective of his designation. During the same terror attack, Mumbai police lost 16 men. Of this, only two, Shri Hemant Karkare, Joint Commissioner of Police Anti-Terrorist Squad, and Shri Ashok Kamte, Additional Commissioner of Police Eastern Region, were IPS officers. As we all aware that IPS is one of the highest level of police leadership in India. Yes, Indian Police Service. Both Karkare sir and Kamte sir were leaders in true sense. There were other 14 for police inspectors, sub inspectors, and constables. Yet all of them proved to be a leader. This is called situational leadership, a situational leadership in action. The training and attitude of these men made them come forward and become the leaders in a crisis. So leadership is all about taking a charge in crisis, not to get panic, irrespective of the designation. Again, a very beautiful quote and learning. We can see a two legend appear. Leaders gives the credit for the success to those who worked for it, but absorb the responsibility for their failure. A very well-known incident in the life of Dr. Abdul Kalam shows how his mentor and a leader handled the crisis. Professor Satish Dhawan was then chairman Indian Space Research Organization ISRO, and Dr. Kalam was assigned the job to develop the first satellite launch vehicle SLV-3 to put the satellite Rohini in orbit. This was one of the largest high technology space programs taken in the year 1973. The entire space technology community, men and women, were geared for this task. The hard work of the thousands of scientists, engineers, and technicians resulted in the first SLV-3 launch on August 10, 1979. SLV took off in the early hours, and the first stage worked beautifully. Even through all the stages, rockets and system worked. The mission could not achieve its objective as the control system malfunctioned in the second stage. Instead of being placed the orbit, the satellite sank in the Bay of Bengal, and the mission was a complete failure. At a press conference at Sri Harikota after the event, where both Professor Dhawan and Dr. Kalam were present, Professor Dhawan announced that he took responsibility for not achieving the mission, even though Dr. Kalam was the project director and mission director. Later, when SLV-3 was relaunched on July 18, 1980, successfully putting Rohini into the orbit, at the subsequent press conference, Professor Dhawan put Dr. Kalam in front to share the success story with the press. Thus, leaders give credit for the success to those who work for it, but absorb the responsibility for the failure. This incident had a tremendous impact on Dr. Kalam's life, and later he became one of the most respected leaders of India. Now, I will share a very beautiful story with you all, from which we will be able to learn and derive some leadership lessons. Story: The Mouse and the Trap. So let's start the story. Once upon a time, there lived a poor farmer along with his wife. The mouse of the house was looking through the wall to see what was there in the package which farmer has bought. What food might this box contain? Mouse started wondering, but he was devastated to discover it was a mouse trap. Retreating and running towards the farmyard, the mouse proclaimed the warning. There is a mouse trap in the house. There is a mouse trap in the house. The hen said, Mr. Mouse, I understand. This is a grave concern for you, but it is not my problem. Please deal with it. The mouse rushed to the pig and said, Mr. Pig, there is a mouse trap in the house. There is a mouse trap in the house. The pig replied, Ho 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 ho. It must be very terrible for you. I am very sorry, but there is nothing I can do about it. But I can only pray for you. Be assured you are in my prayers. The mouse, sad, and rushed to the cow. In tears, he screamed, "Oh, holy cow! There is a mouse trap in the house! There is a mouse trap in the house!" The cow started laughing. "Ha ha 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 ha! Have you seen a mouse, Mr. Mouse? Have you seen a cow being trapped in the mouse trap? I'm very sorry for you, but don't get me involved. It's not my problem, it's your problem. Please deal with it." So the poor little mouse returned to the house, head down, rejected and dejected, to face the mouse alone. That very night, a sound was heard throughout the house, like a sound of the mouse trap catching its prey. The farmer's wife rushed to see what was caught. In the darkness, she did not see. It was a venomous snake whose tail the trap had caught. The snake bit the farmer's wife. The farmer rushed his wife to the nearest hospital, but she returned home with a fever. Everyone know you treat a fever with a fresh chicken soup. So the farmer took his hatchet and went to the farmyard. He slaughtered the hen and made chicken soup for his wife. But his wife's sickness continued. So friends, families, and neighbors came to sit with her around the clock. To feed them, the farmer butchered the pig. The farmer's wife did not get well and she died. So many people came for a funeral. The farmer had the cow slaughtered to provide them enough meat for all of them. The mouse looked all this from the cracked wall with great sadness. After the sad turn of events, the farmer was in a state of shock. He had aimed to kill the mouse, but in that process, he lost everything: his family, his farmyard. He regretted his decision to buy the mouse trap. The farmer became sad, lonely, and depressed. He didn't find any purpose in his life to live anymore. 3 months later, the poor farmer passed away. That's the end of the story. So, what lesson can we learn from this story? Let's discuss one by one. First question: whose problem is it anyway? See, the mousetrap didn't seem like a threat to the hen, to the pig, to the cow. But in the end, it affected all of them, and the mouse was spared. So, whenever something happens somewhere, no matter how remote, how insignificant the problem is, but it has a potential to affect us, don't ignore it. Whether it is in your organization, in your department, in your team, if something goes wrong, it is not just the problem of your organization, department, team, or your boss. It is a problem for everyone too small. Yes, it is a problem for everyone to solve. When small errors are left unattended, they can balloon into a larger problem. Don't ignore it, because in a team, somebody's problem is everybody's problem. So, here as a leader, you should take ownership. Ownership is a core habit that leads to leadership. Take responsibility and work on solution. The willingness to step outside of your comfort zone and taking responsibilities not only stretches your potential but also increase your value to whichever organization you are associated with. So be willing to take ownership and encourage others to do the same. Because we all know real leaders don't give excuses. Real leaders only give excellence. So, the first lesson from this story is ownership. Let's move to the next question. What did the mouse do when he saw the mouse trap? He panicked. He started running for help. As a leader, if you panic in times of crisis, no one would want to be near you. In fact, everyone want to avoid you. A time of crisis is not a time to panic. It is a time to be calm. However, in this situation, a leader should behave in a confident manner. Greater the confidence, there is a greater chances of problem to be solved. You need to believe that you can do it, that your talent is sufficient and your time has come. Because if you are waiting for the right time and right opportunity, someone would have taken your cake and eaten it too. So, be bold, be confident, be decisive. That's very essential for a leader. So, the second lesson from this story is confidence. Let's move towards the third question. What did the mouse say when he saw the trap? Oh my god, there is a mouse trap in the house. There is a mouse trap in the house. In real world, if the leader has to say anything, it needs to be accepted by the colleagues and subordinates. So the point here is ideas infusion. Most people say that they have a lot of ideas, but the point is that having a lot of ideas are not enough. You need to infuse your ideas in such a way that people will purchase it and start running for it. As a leader, you can communicate your ideas in three ways. You can tell, you can yell, and you can sell. So, great leaders sell their ideas, vision, plan of action in a better way. This inspires others to follow their lead and act on their behalf. Great leaders know people won't buy their ideas unless they package it well and sell it well. So, how you are going to infuse your ideas as a leader? As a leader, help your team see a big picture. Help them to see the consequences of the choices. Help them to see the value of their efforts. Translate their problems in a way that will steer others to action. Don't just give your team a team task to do. Aim to make them see the picture you believe in as a leader. So, the third lesson from this story is infuse ideas. Let's move towards the next question. Why didn't the other animal care for the mouse? One possibility is that the mouse had not invested quality time to cultivate reciprocal relationship with other animals. They didn't bother to offer help to him because they had no personal bonding with him that made them inclined to help. Leadership is built on a network of relationships. You need to build your relationship, you need to build your network, one link at a time, and make it a habit. Relationship building is a give and take policy. It is an investment that pay you back in the long run. So, start investing now in a relationship and harvest it later. The fourth lesson from this story is invest in a network of relationship. Let's move towards next question. What's your DQ? That's What's your diversity quotient? The mouse, the hen, the pig, the cow. So many characters from this story all came from the diverse background with different skills and talents. If you are hoping to work for the perfect team member, here is the news for you. Such perfect team members do not exist. If everyone else is similar to you, then you have left little to learn and leverage. Whether you like it or not, diversity is your reality. Whether you want it or not, diversity is here to stay. We can't let it go away. It will never go away. So, diversity is your reality. Let's do. Let's have a look at the palm of your hand. The five fingers are different, yet all are different in size. We can see all are different in shapes too, and all are different in the marks too. A finger by itself is not strong, but have a little meaning. But if you clench all the five fingers tightly into a fist, you will get full power of punch. So work together with people who are divergent and for a common purpose. As a leader, you will create wonders. So while dealing with divergent people, be authentic, be open, be nice, be genuine, give respect to everyone. People will love to flock towards you. So embrace diversity. Diversity is your reality. Learn to embrace diversity before it's too late. So the lesson is embrace diversity. Let's move towards the next question. Who are your kingmakers? From the story, where the situation started to deteriorate quickly, the animal had no clue as what to do. The animal didn't have mentors whom they could have gone during the moment of crisis. They had no advisors, no mentors, and that was a very key contributor to the predicament. Mentors are usually the best kingmakers. Mentors can help you to be the best in you. Mentors can bring out the best from you. Remember, as I said earlier in 7 Secrets of Leadership, every king is surrounded by kingmaker, that is mentors. So, as a leader, or every leader should have mentors, advisors, and coaches in their life. This is the 6th lesson which we learn from this story. Let's move towards the next question. Why didn't the farmer wife didn't allow this follow the safety rule? See, the farmer wife went to the kitchen without taking precaution. Despite the dark, she didn't even bring along with her the lantern, and that triggered a chain of events that destroyed the whole household. There is a proverb that says, "Trust in God, but lock your car and use your seatbelt," which means leaders take risk, but they are also keenly aware of the high cost of the disruptive events and therefore take safety precautions. Safety is the best policy. Safety trumps convenience. So, follow safety and take action is the 7th lesson we have learned from this story. Now, move toward the last question of the story. What about the mouse? And who became the big boss of the house? Ironically, the little mouse became the big boss of the house. So, what did the mouse do to become the big boss of the house? Actually, practically nothing. So, here's the point. Sometimes, some people end up in a position they have never planned off. Remember, life will give you opportunities to become a leader. Whether you whether or not you deserve it. Sometimes you will get an opportunity as a surprise. Sometimes you will get an opportunity as a complete shock. But remember, you are never too small to be big. All your dreams can come true if you have the courage to pursue them. Look at the problems as opportunities. It will only help you to unlock your potential and grow as a leader that other will admire and follow you. The only thing is that the size of your dream matters. And are you ready to lead? This is the last lesson that you are never too small to be big. So, take any of this quality of leadership and start practicing it. Yes, very important part just I have said now. Start practicing it. Don't ignore it because practice make man perfect. You see, knowing the qualities of leadership, knowing the theories of leadership is not enough and it's not going to useful if you won't practice it. So to become a leader, one has to think like a leader. To think like a leader, one has to act like a leader. And to act like a leader, it has to come from the bottom of our heart. Let the leader in each one of you awaken. Here you can see a beautiful stadium. So remember, world is a big playground. Play with dedication, play with hard work, play with passion, and emerge as an excellent number one captain and a player. Yes, that is a leader. A very big thank you for listening. Thank you very much.